Why, hello there, fellow dungeon explorers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to our Adventurer Guild. Episode 7, The Unlikely Love Story in the Dungeon. Let's go to the rare mushrooms for cave. It's a lot of experience, in fact. And we need experience to get ourselves ready for the bandit defense. Alright. We don't have any healers with us this time, but, you know, it's fine. So, collect the rare mushrooms. And immediately we're, like, pinned in on all sides by obstacles. But you can see, after having made all that equipment we just made, how important it is to be collecting supplies, constantly. Makes a big difference, because those bonuses add up quickly. Oh, come on, spider. Stop camping that. I might just need to kill you, then. We got half of them already. This is an earth elemental, if you were wondering. Poison resist and dodge. Well, we already have one dodge ring. Scorp, let's give you the other dodge ring. And quantum the poison resist. Oh, there's an elite. And one of the last two mushrooms there. This party could probably take out an elite, but probably not without like a considerable amount of personal damage, putting them out of commission for a while. So it's probably not worth it yet with this party composition. Meaning going through the goblin and the earth elemental is likely a better choice. So I'm going to pick the goblin to go through. So we got 3 archers and 2 meleeers. Also, these rocks here, this one can be consumed for SP, half of your SP. And this one, if it has a sphere of influence proximity, where your increased physical and magical attack bonuses go up if you're within 1 tile. Dennis Keith, thank you for the resub. And QS0 too. Alright, so I've delayed my turn to give them the opportunity to close. Let's see if I can just kill this one with a knife throw. Yep. And we gained AP back for that. So I'm actually going to vanish. There. Scorp. There's 3 archers. I'm going to have you rush and block. And then Ink, you'll start moving your way up, keeping in mind that they're probably going to want to target you over Scorp, but hopefully they don't. Nope, dumb enough to try to shoot at the tank. Alright, Ink's going to be wounded, obviously, as a result of that hit. But it was worth it. Killed another. So, a height advantage like this, we could throw a knife down on them, but we're not going to be able to melee hit them. As you can see here, this is not a viable height. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, how could you even hit that person? But throwing a knife, no problem. Eat it. Delicious. Ha, you missed. Stop trying to shoot me! You suck out of this. I'm going to use my talisman to heal myself. And then move behind and use earth magic to whomp. Wreck him. Alright, Scorp. It's better to have one dead than two wounded. Quantum, can you even hit from here? You can. Oh, yes. Dead. So, took one injury. Unfortunately, it will be a pretty bad wound for Ink once the fight is completed. Even though she's healed up, obviously it's just a temporary recovery. And we are now exhausted, so I'm going to camp. Everyone's pretty brave right now. Although, you know, maxing out your bravery is actually really, really strong. So if let's like intentionally do that for Quantum, because he was close to max. There's no ambush percent, so I'm not going to worry about Night Watch. And then Scorp polishes his armor. So when you're at like maximum bravery, you end up with positive status effects during combat, as you'll see here in a minute. If I do enter fight. Having the rogue with us is really nice, because picking those locks is like easy peasy. Alright, let's do this story event. While wandering, the party suddenly heard two voices. It sounded like they were arguing. After locating the source of the sounds, the party found two men arguing loudly with each other. From what little they could catch, they were both bandits. They could see that they were surrounded by what seems to be stolen goods, probably acquired from their last robbery. It seems like they were completely oblivious to their surroundings while they were arguing. So, some choices here. Listen in, attack them, or leave them alone. Alright, let's listen in. What the hell were you thinking, Will? Shouted the first bandit. I have no idea what the big deal is, Eddie. We got the loot, replied the second bandit. How convenient they used their names. The big deal? The big deal? Shouted Eddie even louder. We nearly died because you rushed in trying to get the loot. When the others died, we should have just run away. And leave the loot behind? What kind of bandit are you? And besides, I knew the both of us could handle those monsters. The others were just caught off guard and a lot weaker than us, argued Will back, seemingly unwilling to think there was any fault with his behavior. You didn't know that. You could have died out there. You could have died out there, Eddie yelled yet again. Why are you acting like you're my mother? Just let it go, man, said Will. He started to sound frustrated. Well, here's another choice. Continue listening, cut their conversation short and attack, or let them sort out their own problems. Alright, let's keep listening. I have acted like your mother because you have shit for brains, Eddie yelled. As if someone with an ugly mug like yours could be my mother, Will yelled back. Ooh, sorry for having an ugly mug, Eddie threw back sarcastically. We can't all have a handsome face like yours. You think I'm handsome? Will asked, surprised. It seemed like he'd lost all of his previous fervor. Eddie turned red, probably realizing what he had just said. Of course, Eddie started to stutter. I mean, everyone thinks that with your lush golden hair, your deep green eyes, your full lips. What is happening here? The party thought. For some reason, the bandits' conversation has started to take a turn in a direction they didn't quite expect. And for some reason, Ink's nose started to bleed. Oh my god. Alright. Top. They're already too deep. Keep listening. Or bottom. It's clearly a situation they shouldn't be listening to. Leave now. We're in too deep. We're in too deep. There was an awkward silence between the two bandits that even the party could feel. It seemed like Eddie had turned quiet after he listed all the handsome features of Will. He was seemingly unable to look Will in the eyes, who himself started to stare at something else. The party was curious about how Will would react after hearing that. After what seemed like an eternity, Will started to speak again. You know, I didn't really mean it when I said you were ugly. Oh no. You don't have to lie for my sake. I know I'm ugly. I resemble more of a gorilla than a human, Eddie denied, still unable to look Will in his eyes. That's not true. Will shouted with a ferocity that seemed even to surprise Eddie. I actually like how manly you look. Will turned silent, unable to end the silence. It's mutual, the party thought. You know, we don't have to return back to the camp, Eddie said. We have enough loot here to start a new life. I never really liked the idea, liked any of the others except you. You mean run away together? Will asked hopefully. Only if you're fine with me, Eddie answered. Eddie, Will. Well, what do we do? All right, it's time to step in, or all right, it's time to step out. Are we letting these bandits have their happily ever after, or are we intervening here? Stepping out? Stepping out. It was time to leave, now, before the party witnessed something they shouldn't. The party made a hasty retreat. Yeah, who are we to get between some brotherly love? Alright, and I don't want to fight this elite, because we're going to get tooled up badly, so, well, return to the guild. We ended up with some money, some spending money, not a lot of loot, but still. And 2 people leveled up, Ink and Guitar alone, so, you know. And the proposal of better rooms got done. New week. A new week has started. Mikan has returned with fresh supplies and new recruits in the tavern. Great. Young Wolf recovers. The young wolf that Elon had brought back with him seemed to have finally recovered. It also seems to have taken a liking to Elon and started to follow him everywhere he goes. After taking it out, he was allowed to keep the wolf. A decision has made them both happy. So lost injured pup and has gained loyal friend. Accuracy, dodge, initiative, bravery, and willpower growth. Holy hell. And Al's also gained a good mood. His willpower growth is stupid high, because he's also talented. So he's getting a lot of wisdom and a lot of willpower, which is great for a bishop in training. Very nice trait. So broken. I mean, he's a priest, so like it is only so strong, but still. All right, level up. Ink going up to 4. Yeah, you could do better than that. And yes, you could. So Ink is very close to a potential high mage. And I don't think Ink is here. So I think what I'm going to do, given Ink's proximity to high mage, is re-raffle Ink. If you're wondering, in the participation guide here, there's the character reassignment. Viewers have won raffles, but are not making timely decisions for their characters, will have their characters reassigned. This is a way so that like the character development doesn't stagnate. So there's now a raffle up for Ink. One of the OG. Adventurers ready to level up. Guitar Lilith, who is indeed here. And you, in order to become assassin, you need willpower and dex. You got 2 dex. You got 1 willpower. You missed out on your endurance, but like, ooh, you know, you got the strength. I'm gonna re-roll. It's a little risky, but I'm gonna re-roll. Because yeah, I wanted more endurance for health. So you got 2 dex and 1 willpower still. This is a better roll. So we did good there. All right, new skills. Given that Ink's about to be raffled, there's a potential for Ink to pick up a arcane specialty, so I'm choosing not to give Ink any training just yet. Meaning that we could do Guitar Lowlands. So Guitar Lowland can get a few really interesting ones. Throw Sand, blinding the enemy. Dirty Fighting, which is pretty good to pick up. We also have Dodge, we have Poisoning Weapons, we've got Underdog, enemies no longer get a hit chance surrounding the unit. Resistances, Movement. I think Pathfinder is still very, very important, be able to like outmaneuver enemies, so I'm going to pick that one up. And then I'm going to also pick up Dirty Fighting. So 2 passives, but powerful ones. Assignments are the same, safe hunting and gathering resources. Upgrades. We do have enough money for upgrades. What guild upgrade to get? So there's basic training, basic delivery, or traveler backpack. So to explain them, basic training allows you to take someone really low level, like level 1, and train them up to level 2 out of combat. So they don't have to like be deployed. Stuff like that is really useful if you have a death in your guild and you need to replace a specific role or something like that. Traveler backpacks increase our carry size from 20 to 25, and basic delivery will deliver common resources. With that in mind, resource delivery in traveler backpacks is instant, and basic training requires 2 days to complete. On top of that is a new day. So while you vote on this, and while we're re-raffling Ink, let's look for new adventurers. So we got Jesper, who's resourceful, pessimist, and frail. No thanks. Ascetic, clumsy, scared of fire. Super no thanks. Rosa, nimble, hot-blooded, bright. So wisdom is down, dex is up, int is up. Int and dex, that's kind of archery. She is an archer. So that's a potential. Gideon, who's selfish, dubious, and hot-blooded. No thanks. Ava, optimist, death wish, determined. I'm confused. You're optimistic about suicide or something? I don't know. Death wish, oblivious, and born leader. Short-sighted, clumsy, no. Lazy, lucky, sickly, no. Talented swordsman, magically trained and organized. I like Abigail, but she's super confusing. She's good with a sword, but uses daggers because she's currently a rogue. Is magically talented, but is a rogue. And is organized. So, in this case, there is an answer here, which is an interesting one, which is eventually Abigail might be good at Arcane Knight, which is a hybrid of sword and magic. But, like, not as a rogue. But those traits are still good traits, especially organized, which gives more camping actions. So I'm going to recruit her all the same. I'm going to pass on the other ones. So she's our 10th member now. So we're raffling off, and I like how I spelled basic resources. So let's also pick up basic resources, which isn't going to take an effect until next week because Meakana has already restocked for this week. I'm also going to sell some of the extra crud. And here we go, raffle timing. So first is Ink's. If Ink is still not here. Nope, still not here. Okay, so Ink, you are now Swanky Possum. Hell of a name. And Swanky, if you want to change class goals, because I set this class goal as like as a thing to think about. But if you want to change class goals or specialization, use the channel point redemption. And let me get your character updated. Or name. You can always rename. And then the other one is going to be the new rogue. All right, I'm going to re-roll that because you already have a character. Iscandia. And I'll need to write up Iscandia's new bio. You are currently a rogue. You're working towards nothing. And you are talented swordsman. Swordswoman, I guess? I'll just say swordsman because it's shorter. Magically talented. Organized. Alright. And if I did everything right, there we go. Roster is correct. Okay. Scorpio said raffle off as well. And Swanky wants to be fire spec. Got it. So, Scorp's becoming Dastardly Dave. Scorp relinquished character. So now we have Dastardly Dave, the pretty, healthy body, arrogant, trained by Falcon. If you're wondering, the trained by types of traits, I'm not adding to their bio, because that's not something they started with. That's something they earned that they will lose if they retire or die, and then gets re-rolled. Okay, so Fire Mage. Let's update that as well. Dastardly Dave the Defender is just funny to me. So Swanky Possum, you are going to be fire specialized. The roster should be updated, and now let's train skills. Swanky Possum. Fire Magic Adept. So now your fire spells do more damage, and then there's a fireball spell that you can pick up at level 8 as well. And then your other skill point here, I will give you Pathfinder as well. I do find that everyone really benefits from Pathfinder, being able to maneuver better. Alright, let's also talk to Astrid about the bandits. Bandits, nothing more than unusual, unskilled trash that live from the work of others. Killing them were one of the few good things adventurers used to do. I once had an argument with my old party because they wanted to negotiate with bandits. I gave them my opinion on that matter by simply putting arrow through the bandit skulls. Dear gods. Anything else? The Bandit King. The Bandit King! What a load of bullshit. He could as well call himself the King of Trash and it would have made no difference. I hope his next title starts with The Dead. Anything else? Nope. Yeah, she really cuts to the chase. Let's say she has a piercing attitude as an archer. Alright, so we need money, but we have a lot of happy people. One of the things I could do is we help farmers. So before I help the farmers, we should probably come up with a roster who going next. Actually, for helping the farmers, let's say... SP and HP. I'm going to have Dave go through it again. Guitar Lilin. But I'm going to have Callie go through it, Guitar Lilin, and Tavasker. Because all of them could use them extra HP. Send. Available quests. And we're really looking to make money. So clear the cave is a little tricky because you have to kill 3 encounters. Which might be more battle than you want to get into, even though it pays the best. So between these two, let's go to the old fortress, because that is a new location. So we got Dave. Swanky Possum, you're going to sit those one out because you're injured. Destroyer, Quantum, Hallis, and Iscandia. We'll bring the new one. Before we bring Iscandia, it may be worth buying her equipment, or buying equipment for Destroyer, because they basically have default gear at the moment. Let's give you the Mind Ring, and then check out the Blacksmith. We have daggers that we can make. So the party again. We could benefit from mage gear, armor, potentially daggers. So I think daggers is a reasonable thing to make. Or armor for Dave, but not both. Yeah, we don't have materials for both. So who should I make gear for? Oh, and I need to change some names here. Sorry. Dastardly Dave is getting out of the list, as is Swanky Possum. And then, of course, Iscandia. I think this is the correct list. So not to influence it, but like, Dave could use better armor. He's using like default level 1 gear. I don't believe I'm lacking 1 wood for the staff for Destroyer. And I'm lacking 3 leather for the robe for Destroyer. So I wouldn't really be able to make Destroyer anything. For Iscandia, I could make daggers, but not the armor. That's about the list. Would a sword be better for Iscandia? Rogues can't have swords. So, Iscandia, if you want to be a paladin in the end goal, in the interim, the best that you could be would be to change probably to warrior defender, as they are paladin equivalent. So a warrior gets more strength and endurance. A defender gets more endurance than strength. Warrior has a little bit of good dex. The other thing about a paladin is I think, if memory serves... Actually, let me check it up. Look it up for you, just in case we have it wrong. Paladins, I think, require willpower. So whatever is higher willpower of those 3, which would be defender. So probably the best interim would be to go defender and then to go to paladin. That's what I would say. Defender it is. All right. So you're not going to be able... So here's the thing. If we go to the cave right now, we'll have to not take you because you'll be out for training, which is fine. We'll take Elin instead. And then have you change your class. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity for experience, but like you'll make it up for it by having a class better suited to your talents. Alright, in terms of this roster, there's really no good gear I can give them other than better armor for Dastardly Dave. And I think I'm going to get rid of this pole and do just that. Because we already have Defender armor lined up for Iscandia once Iscandia retools. Because we already have the fine sword and shield queued up. So I'll do plate armor instead, and give that plate armor to Dave. Alright, let's go to the old fortress. Isn't Iscandia good for an Arcane Knight? Well, it's all like moot until those special classes are even revealed. It ultimately doesn't really matter. So I'm going to have the archer actually be a frontliner in this case, because I don't want 4 back row. It's obviously a bad party comp, but we don't have a formal party yet, so like who cares? Plus this is just a basic exploration. Not a big deal. And Chaos Dino, thank you for the resub. That's a lot of months. Cheers. Now in this new location, it's a little bit different, because we have a new enemy type, the Undead. And then the loot that you find here is like ancient artifacts. So they're a different loot pool as well. Let's just get into an undead fight so you can see the difference, because it does play very differently. So there's Shriekers, which do demoralizing screams to lower accuracy and bravery. And the Undead themselves have the special effects where they restore hit points per turn, and then when they're killed, they create a corpse on the ground and will revive unless you destroy the corpse. So they're not hard enemies, but they're like different. One of the advantages that we have in this fight is the healers are actually really competent in killing undead. So bringing 2 healers to the old fortress full of undead is like not a bad tactic, to be honest, because we'll be able to cast healing spells on them in an aggressive fashion, as you can see. Right? That was a heal spell. And I can even use my talisman to just outright kill it. So here, as you can see, there's a little number here, and this turns back into a zombie again in 3 turns, unless we finish it off. Now, that won't matter if we down all of them. So the revive only matters if the fight hasn't been resolved. And then these traps on the ground will trigger only once, but it's like whoever stands on it. So it's, you know, in our best interest not to be that person. Here's Dave. Oh, this works? Oh, come on! Alright, you know what? You are making up for that miss. I don't know how you miss a corpse on the ground. Now, the only issue that I have, or the only issue that we're going to have in this part of the fight, is we're all grouped up, and that's going to be really easy for the Shrieker to shriek at us. So it's going to kind of suck. As you'll see in a moment, Shrieker goes, "Rah!" and hits all of us for a demoralizing scream. Yeah. Oh, come on now. It's beyond my range. But not Hallis's range. Done. And when you finish off everyone, even if they're like active corpses on the ground, the fight's over. So you can either finish off the corpses or finish off everybody so the corpses don't revive. And we got some ectoplasm. And we lost a lot of bravery points in that fight. So fighting the undead is like largely about keeping your bravery up. So that you don't become shaken and like lose combat effectiveness. That was a magic attack ring, or no, initiative ring. I don't really care who takes initiative. I almost always pass on first turn. There's also these like side doors, and there's sometimes secret passages you can find too. So poking around the ruins is like real useful. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's a gamble. Alright, we're gonna get attacked here, but I think it's worth it for the treasure that's in this room. I'm okay with it. We have a pretty good roster to fight undead. No more out of you. And let's finish it off. Spending my bravery to preserve my bravery. You're a corpse now. There's not much else to do. Come on, one shot. Aww. Yeah, the Shriekers are, they're not, like, physically dangerous, but they're very... Oh, that was a bad idea. They're very demoralizing. I can't even hit it with Quantum's, like, overdrive. Oopsie poopsie. Yay, you missed. Alright, the last zombie's taking the last turn, so I'm not too worried about the zombie doing anything effective. It's too bad the zombie isn't adjacent to one of the traps, because you can also just, like, throw zombies into traps. So I did, in this case, push the zombie towards me, but then I'm getting out of the way to make room for other attackers to be more effective. And in this case, I think what I'm going to do is have Palace double cast and cast a heal spell on the second one to try to finish it off. And yep, it's dead. Heal spells are way more effective than a magic attack. No hits. No hits, just loot. The other thing why I kept going is I knew that we hadn't found the story event yet, which can be really important. It can make you much stronger. The party spots a dark-robed figure carrying a corpse with him. Okay. Curious about who the figure might be and what he was doing, they started to observe him from a safe distance. The robed figure carried the corpse to a spot where a red pentagram was crudely drawn on the stone floor. He placed the corpse in the pentagram and took out a black book. From a distance, the party could tell that the book looked ancient, and even those without arcane knowledge could feel that there was some dark power behind it. The figure opened the book and, after reading for a moment, began to chant something that sounded like a spell. Nothing happened. Everyone in the party expected the corpse to rise up, but instead, it still lay motionless on the ground. This wasn't the result they were expecting, and it seemed neither did the robed figure, who started to curse and flip pages of the book. Alright, choice. We can approach the hooded figure, sneak attack the hooded figure, or leave the figure alone. Ooh, approach. All right. No? Yeah, approach. The party decided they would confront the hooded figure. It was likely that they were attempting necromancy, and if they were, the party had to intervene. They began to approach the hooded figure, who initially did not notice their presence. It was only when they were at sprinting distance that the hooded figure finally realized that they were not alone. Upon noticing them, the robed person started to scream and attempted to run away. However, not paying attention, they stumbled over a corpse that they had been carrying and fell down. Probably sensing that they had missed their chance to escape, the hooded figure started to yell, "Please, don't hurt me, let's talk." The party finally got a good look at the hooded figure. It was a young girl, hardly old enough to be considered an adult. "This isn't what it looks like. She stammered. It seems like she couldn't figure out a response that could in any way explain her behavior other than what they had all been already thinking. She started sobbing. "Please don't hurt me. Necromancy was a heavy crime, for which the lightest punishment would be death." It seemed like the girl realized that and was afraid of the consequences of her actions. "I will never do it again. Please let me go," she begged. "You can even have the book. Even if it wasn't not a real magic book, surely it's worth something." She asked, when asked where she got the book, she answered, "Some man gave it to me. He said it would give me the power, but now I know he was just lying." The party looked at the book that was lying on the floor after the girl had dropped it. They were sure that the book had some sort of power, and it was only because of the girl's inability to use it that it appears to be a normal book. But something about the book had made the party feel uneasy. It surely would have been a powerful book to have, but it was a book about necromancy. There are many stories about the dangers of having a grimoire of necromancy should they really use it. let the girl go and take the book. Let the girl go and burn the book. I mean, we're not here to kill a child, so. All right, burn the book. The party let the girl go. After all, nothing has happened, and it wasn't their job to uphold the law. The girl thanked the adventurers and ran as soon as she was allowed to, probably afraid that the adventurers might change their mind. The adventurers took the book from the floor and gave it a look. After studying a book, it was no surprise to them that the girl wasn't able to make use of the book. The book was full of complex arcane knowledge, which not everybody would have been able to understand. But that won't matter now because the party decided to destroy the book. It contained dangerous knowledge and that was not supposed to be in the hands of men. They built a fire, burned it until there was nothing left of it. We gained 2,000 experience. Holy moly, that was worth it. And let's gain 50 more for Destroyer if he can do this. Done. All right, return to camp. So, a lot of experience, and then of course a lot of treasure as well, because we gained stacks and stacks and stacks of ancient artifacts, which we can sell to Magicka back at camp. You can see why, like, the average person would just, like, throw this crap out. It's like, what do you even do with this, right? But, like, Magicka buys it, so yeah, that works. Thank you for tuning in to our Adventurer Guild, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. But please keep in mind, I'm trying to avoid backseating and spoilers. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming stream. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord to take part in community events, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow adventurers.